What's up, digital marketing agency owners? On today's video, I want to talk about one of the most impactful things that you need to do within your business to position yourself as the go-to expert in your niche and to get clients to come to you pre-positioned to buy. And that's building client case studies on a consistent basis, really compelling client case studies. So if this is something you want to get better at, you want to be more consistent at producing great client case studies, you're going to want to watch this video. So when it comes to growing your business, we have something we call the agency growth system. And it really talks about the things you want to be doing daily, monthly, quarterly to keep your pipeline full and to keep clients coming into your world on a consistent basis. Now, obviously, we want to be running ads and we want to be doing cold outreach all the time, right? It should be constantly building your list, building your influence. Now, to nurture that list and to kind of continue to position yourself with content, we want to be doing monthly webinars and podcasts. But one of the other things you want to be doing, at least on a quarterly basis, is creating compelling client case studies. Because let's face it, anybody can say they know how to generate results in your industry, in your niche that you happen to serve. The thing that will separate you from the competition is if you can show, hey, here's one of my clients, here's the results that they got, here's what we did, and here's the actual data to back up we know what we're actually doing. When you've got consistent new client case studies coming out, you're going to be the unquestioned expert in the niche. Clients are going to want to hire you and come to you and be like, man, how do I hire you? Because I see that you know how to generate results. Even industry partners and influencers will be looking to you and referencing you as the go-to expert. And so you want to get really good at creating amazing, validated case studies on a consistent basis. Now, usually when I hear the word case study, and probably you too, you think of a long PDF document with like some screenshots and some data points that's really boring and really not engaging at all. What I want to encourage you to do is to create video-based case studies that really tell a story that create a narrative. And so if it's okay with you, I'll walk you through that process and arm you with the exact methodology we've used to create dozens and dozens of case studies that have positioned our agency to get clients coming in on a consistent basis. And so let me dive into 5 keys on this, and I'll give you some swipe and deploy assets that you can access at the end in order to put this into play in your business. But step number 1 is that you always want to start with the idea of knocking it out of the park for your client. Right? We all run agencies because we want to help our clients. We want to see them grow. We want to make it rain for the client. And so yes, we're always thinking, how do we get this client a good result? Because that's fundamental to them staying with us and referring us to others. But if you go in with the intentionality for you, your account management team, your operations team, to think every client, we want to create such an amazing experience, we want to create such a great result that we could show, look at the impact that we've had in this client's business. So that's step number 1, start every relationship with that intention. Step number 2 is really what you're going to want to do is start to interview your clients with a simplified framework, right? It doesn't have to be super complicated. If you've got the right questions and you've got the right framework, this can be a really, really easy thing to do on a very consistent basis within your agency. Number 3 is you're going to outline your questions and your flow. Like literally get clear, like these are the questions we're going to ask. This is the order that we're going to ask them so that you know on the front end we're trying to create a great experience. We're going to track the results in terms of where they are and where they were and where they are now. And you've got a list of questions that you know you can just show up, you can ask the questions, you can get the answers, and that can be the raw materials for some amazing case studies within your agency. Number 4 is you want to design your syndication strategy. So a case study in a vacuum, like it's like something just within your company, maybe you've got a video, maybe you've got some data about the results that you've generated, in a vacuum isn't going to do you any good, right? You have to have a strategy to say, okay, now that we've got this case study or we've got these case studies, how are we going to get that out to the world? How are we going to make sure that our ideal prospects know about it so that they can be influenced by the outcomes we're able to generate? And then number 5 is that you've got to leverage that case study to attract your ideal clients. And so, like, these are the 5 things you want to be thinking about to create great case studies and ultimately to get the outcomes that you're after in terms of clients coming to you pre-positioned to buy. In terms of format, there's really two formats that we use, that we train our seven-figure agency members to use, that works extremely well and is extremely easy to execute. The first format is the client testimonial interview. And you could do this on Zoom. That's the easiest way. You show up on camera, they show up on camera, you ask your questions, they answer them, and then you edit and you syndicate. That's one of my favorites because, let's face it, we're hearing directly from the client. We're hearing exactly from their own words the outcomes that they've gotten with your services. The other is more of a video-based results case study. And there's a place for this as well. And that's where you pull up all of your data points. You pull up their website, you pull up where they're ranking, you pull up your initial reporting in terms of how many calls they were getting, how much revenue they were generating, and then you pull up the after. And that can be relatively simple to pull off as well. I think there's a place for both. Case study where you're interviewing the client taps into the emotional side of the equation. Man, I get to hear what this person was going through. I get to hear their outcomes. The video-based is more analytical. It's more data-based. You can actually show what you did on the website, how you got it ranked, and kind of the links that you built and what you did with the landing pages. And a lot of times the technical buyer wants to know that you've got a unique and proprietary process that you bring into play. So I recommend running a mix of both. The easier of the two, obviously, is the interview. And a lot of times that's the more compelling for the majority of the industry, right? Because they're hearing directly from your prospect. They're hearing directly from what their experience was. From a format and flow perspective, again, my suggestion, simply conduct this via Zoom. That's the fastest way. If you want to get a little more bang out of it, you could use something like Restream, where you schedule it, the prospect comes in or the client comes in and you come in, and then you can broadcast it live. You can have it live on Facebook. You can have it live in various Facebook groups. I do that in today's environment. That's what we do most of the time when we create these types of case studies. But if you're just getting started and you don't feel confident, the best thing to do would just be to privately invite your client onto a Zoom meeting, let them know what you're going to do, let them know what questions you're going to ask, and then take them through the process. Right, and the beauty of it is, this is relatively simple, right? Everybody's doing Zoom meetings. Most people have a webcam. Most people have the audio. And so you ask your questions, then you capture the audio and the video at the same time. So you've got an audio testimonial, you've got a video testimonial, and it's not hard to transcribe that using any variety of tools to have it transcribed. And now you've got long form blog posts that you can pull out for your syndication strategy. And from a syndication perspective, really what I suggest is load it up onto YouTube, make it a podcast. If it was a long enough interview, there's no reason that can't live as a podcast, a client success story. Post it on social media, post it in the various groups that you're part of. One bonus thing that we found work really well is to actually mail it out to your Dream 100 list as well, because not everyone's opening your email. Not everybody's listening to your podcast. Your top prospects, though, will check the mail. And so if you can put together a nice postcard with a QR code, hey, listen to this story of this client that went from this place to that place, that can work extremely well. And it's a reason to be top of mind with them. It's a reason to be in their inbox. And then again, consider doing it live. Consider actually making it a live experience where you invite prospects in, you ask the questions, and then you open it up. Hey, does anybody else have any questions on this? That way you get live attention, live eyeballs. For all the reasons I like to do live webinars, I think live client case study interviews is extremely powerful and impactful as well. Think through the questions. Really, I've got a whole list of questions, and I'll share a resource with you at the end that can help shortcut this process. But really, you're just trying to get them to say who they are, the services they provide, what the situation was, what problems they were looking to solve in their business, like they weren't getting enough leads, they weren't getting enough calls, they weren't showing up where their customers were looking, why they chose your company, what you implemented, like, what did you do, and what's the outcome been? That's the main thing. Where were you when we started, and where are you today, and how has that positively impacted your life? Right? If you can get them to answer those questions on video, you're going to have a very powerful and compelling case study that you can leverage in a lot of different ways. Really, the key thing, you're not looking for them to say that you're awesome. You're not looking for them to say how nice your team is or how pretty the website was. What you want to be able to demonstrate in your client case study videos is the from to the outcome. Here's where I was, here's where I am today, and this is the impact that it's had. Ideally, you want them to say, I was doing $1 million per year before, and now I'm doing 3. And because of that, I was able to retire my wife, and I was able to buy my dream home, right? That's what you're trying to capture. So don't just ask a bunch of questions in a vacuum. Be intentional. You want to have that narrative for this is where they were, this is where they are today. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, I hope that's clear. You can simplify this process by just interviewing your clients, and what you're looking for in the questions that you ask is the from to the to, and you can get a lot of the emotional aspect of it in the questions that you answer. Now, lots of things you can do to promote this after the fact, right? You can send it out via email, you can post it on social media. My favorite play, obviously, is we want our case studies to be in front of our ideal prospects. We want them to be in front of the industry. And so there's no reason you can't take your case study afterwards, run Facebook ads to your targeted audience, saying, hey, discover how this client went from here to here. Click here to access the case study. One of the best things you can do, because obviously, if they opt in for that, they're going to be influenced by the results you can produce. They're going to be giving you their name and their email and entering your funnel. But the other interesting thing is if you're constantly getting new case studies and you're constantly promoting these case studies as they happen, after they happen, and then on social media, even if they don't opt in, they're seeing so many of your clients that you've worked with that have gotten results. And so they're just going to subconsciously be like, wow, this is an expert in the industry. They know what they're doing. Whether they opted in for your case study or not, they're going to be influenced by your results and the results that you can bring to the table. And so this is how we feature it on our website. There's a place where we feature our case studies, and we do take the text and the data from where they were to where they are, and we incorporate that with the video. A great example of leveraging this strategy is roofer marketers, Jim Moline and Brian Niebler. If you enter their funnel, you'll start to see them on Facebook talking about how the client X, Y, or Z went from here to there, and then they take you to a simple funnel where you can opt in to get access to that case study. And once you opt in, you're getting taken to, hey, this is going to be awesome. You're going to love the case study. Let's schedule a time to talk. And of course, they're dripping those case studies on a very, very consistent basis. I'm super passionate about this. I really believe this is one of the most powerful things you can do in your agency. Go from just serving the client to thinking about how do we knock it out of the park and create amazing results that we can document as case studies. Because so many of us are selling marketing services, but so few of us are actually demonstrating the outcomes and the results. And so give me a 1 in the comments if this was helpful, if you took away like at least one insight that you can use to get really good at developing case studies. I do have an additional asset that I think is going to be super beneficial for you. I've taken some of the questions, the checklist of the process, and some examples of the promotional strategy we use to create case studies. We call it the Case Study Builder. You can access this by hitting the QR code or going to go.sevenfigureagency.com/case-study-builder. You'll get a deep dive training where I'll really walk through this in depth, as well as the swipes and deploys. So go check that out. Commit to case studies. If you'll commit to try and get at least one new client case study per quarter, type case study in the comments. That's it for now. If you got value from this video, please press the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I'm constantly sharing new videos on how to land clients, deliver world-class results, retain your clients at the highest level, and ultimately scale your business so you can make more money, have more freedom, and have a bigger impact. And share this with another agency that could benefit. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to talking with you soon.